Oh, shit, shot!
Immediately after the shooting, officers provided first aid, including CPR and the use of an automatic external defibrillator. Laudamir Arboleda was later pronounced deceased at a hospital.
Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here for New Jersey Exposed. Today is Tuesday, March 8, 2022. Time is 12:31 p.m. Jersey time. All right, we got another story of a well-trained professional hero. Always, and I'm telling you, always out there risking our lives as they protect and serve the government and generate revenue for the government. This all comes back to something that's been said, that there's no situation a cop can't make worse. And it also just reaffirms where I say they're out there risking our lives, not their own. This is reported on, KTLA.com. This came out on March 4th, 2022. Reads as follows. Bay Area police officer sentenced to 6 years for fatally shooting unarmed mentally ill man. Why doesn't he get 20 years in prison? That's what I want to know. There you go. There's the picture. There's definitely two sets of rules around here. A California police officer was sentenced Friday to 6 years in prison, which means he's not going to do 6 years in prison, for fatally shooting an unarmed mentally ill man during a slow-speed car chase in wealthy San Francisco suburb. Wow, slow speed. Let's find out how slow the guy was going. An attorney for the man's family called it a watershed moment, an example of progress being made in California and elsewhere in holding law enforcement accountable. Yeah, slowly we're going. Contra Costa County Superior Court Judge Terry Mockler said evidence showed that 33-year-old Laudamir Arboleda was driving 6 miles per hour. Imagine that, 6 miles an hour, and this cop's going to fill you full of lead. As he tried to evade Danville police officer Andrew Hall, who fired a barrage of bullets into him that violated his own training and put fellow officers in danger. Training. This is how they solve problems, people. Violence. See, in his twisted little mind, he thinks that this guy going 6 miles an hour is a danger to the public, and that he better unload his magazine into the guy. Never mind that some of the bullets are going to go flying through and kill somebody else. Hall made extremely poor choices, you think? We all know they're not hired for their intelligence. The judge said, and Arboleda did not deserve to die for evading an officer. No person does, but how many stories have we heard or done? I know I just did one not too long ago down south, was it Georgia or something, where the guy ran a red light and the officer chased after him and the guy flipped the car over and the officer came over and killed him. While he may have violated the law, it was no law that carried a sentence of death for him, the judge said. The victim's mother, Jeannie Atienza, said in a statement that the sentence brings some closure to the family now that Hall has been held to some account. Well, I see a lawsuit coming. That'll be settled real quick if it hasn't already. They want Hall retried on the voluntary manslaughter charge that a jury deadlocked on in October. Juries convicted Hall of assault with a firearm for the shooting. Our family has been through hell, she said. Atienza said it pained the family that it took nearly 3 years to bring charges against Hall. Well, you know, the system is all designed to protect the gang members. And people, you got to remember that the prosecutor's office is a branch of the gang. They work hand in hand with each other. So when one of the gang members gets in trouble, unless it's something really egregious, the prosecutor's office is not going to jump on this. They're going to take their time. They're going to see if there's a way to get around it. The preferential treatment shown to Hall as an officer throughout this trial has only added to our trauma. You think? You're surprised at this, that they get preferential treatment? Are you surprised, lady? You should be charged with stupidness, lady. Or either that, you should start watching my channel. get educated. The case marked the first time a police officer charged in an on-duty shooting in Contra Costa County, east of San Francisco, and is part of a push by more prosecutors to punish police misconduct after the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, set of nationwide calls for social justice. Civil rights lawyer John Burrs, who represents Arbolito's family in a separate civil lawsuit, said the sentence showed how times have changed. Burrs' roster of high-profile police violence cases include Rodney King and Oscar Grant. It's been a 30-year march toward this kind of decision, Burrs said. The March 3rd, 1991 beating of King and subsequent acquittal of the police officer triggered riots at Rock, Los Angeles. This is kind of a new day. Well, times are changing because there's cameras out there now all over the place. People got their phones, they can take pictures. There's body cams. So these cops now, they're being caught. See, like the thing with Rodney King is the guy didn't start recording, I think, until he started hearing a commotion out there, in which case he put the camera up and started recording. So it doesn't show everything. Now with cameras everywhere and body cam, so now you can kind of get a video out from start to finish what's going on. These cops can't lie anymore. They can't say he was acting reckless or he was threatening me. I feared for my life, resisting arrest. They can't pull this shit anymore because the cameras is exposing these bad cops for what they are, and these cops can't hide all behind that propaganda crap anymore. That it's not them. It's they have a tough job bullshit. The shooting in Arbolito took place after a resident called 911 on November 3rd to report that a suspicious person later identified as Arbolito was knocking on doors and lingering outside homes in Danville, cul-de-sac. When officers arrived, they saw the 5'5" Arbolito get into his car and drive away. Arbolito led officers on a 9-minute slow-speed chase through Danville. Hall was not involved in the initial pursuit, but stopped his vehicle at an intersection to block Arbolito's car. Now, here in New Jersey, I know that the Attorney General at the time, Gerber Grewal, was not the Attorney General anymore, which I would like him to be back because, at first I didn't like the guy. Now I saw some of the work he was doing, so he was doing some things to try to clean up. But now that you have people who have mental problems, have some kind of issue, that can be, if I'm remembering correctly, that this can be on their driving abstract so that when a cop runs your license, he sees that, okay, this person has some kind of issue that I need to be aware of. So we can approach this a little bit different. Police video footage shows Hall stepping into the path of Arbolito's vehicle and firing a volley of shots into the windshield and passengers. Oh, Jesus. 9 bullets hit Arbolito, including a fatal shot to the chest. Where did the other bullets go? During a 3-week trial in October, prosecutors argued Hall used excessive, unreasonable, and unnecessary force. And if what I just read is true, I agree. Hall's lawyer said the officer feared for his... Well, you know what? You jumped in front of the car, you jackass. Yeah, you fear for your life. You put yourself in that fear. Hall's lawyer said the officer feared for his safety and used body cam footage to show the right front tire of Arbolito's car was pointed at Hall when the shooting started, indicating it was heading in his direction. Hall's lawyers say they plan to appeal the Friday sentence. Well, if the car's coming at you, wouldn't any rational person get the hell out of the way? Before handing down the sentence, Mockler noted that Hall had been trained not to shoot into moving cars, and by doing so, had turned Arbolito's vehicle into an unguided missile. That is absolutely right. So you shoot this guy, suppose his foot tenses up, push down the gas pedal, then careen into the intersection and collide with the car of an innocent bystander. Who paid for that car that got messed up? His gunfire shot in the direction of other officers also put his fellow officers at risk, but mainly the judge stressed that Arbolito had done nothing wrong aside from fleeing the police. It is true that we all have a duty when pursued by police officers with lights and sirens going to pull over, she said, describing Arbolito as a particularly vulnerable person. He did not deserve to die for evading police officers. That is really the crux of this. Okay. It also came 6 weeks after Hall, who was white, shot and killed Tyrell Wilson, a black homeless man whose family said he suffered from depression and paranoia. The shooting Wilson remains uninvestigated. So this cop's got a history of being trigger happy. All right, this is a little bit of a story here. I'll put the link in the description as usual. And you can go read the whole thing yourself. So here you go. You got one of these gunslingers chasing after, they're going after a guy going 6 miles an hour down the road, and he's going to jump out of the car, and he fires bullets into the windshield. This guy thinks he's in a Dirty Harry movie or something. How much is this going to cost the taxpayers, people? Let me think. I'm going to say my first inclination was $1 million. It might be more. Might be more. I'll do well, trained professional here. And bootleggers, love to hear from you. Feel free to chime in. Bootleggers, come on, chime in. And how about some of you cops out there, you good cops out there that follow my channel? Why don't you chime in and tell me about what you think what happened there? I'd love to hear how you rationalize all this, right? Well, I know the bootleggers, you should have stopped. Shouldn't have gone away. He was going 6 miles an hour, and the officer jumped in front of his car. He should have stopped. The officer feared for his life when he jumped in front of the car. Till next time, people.
It sound right, boys.